everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Tonight, I'm going to be doing something a little different. Soon, I will have an unboxing of the Nintendo Switch 2 on this channel. What I am waiting for right now is to get a different mic set up because it'll make it much easier to record ASMR videos than my current setup now. Hoping that it sounds good enough, but sometimes you could do a lot of magic with audio in post, and I'm hoping the quality of the mic and what I can do in post will let me use this mic setup, but that's talking about what's going on behind the scenes, and you probably don't care. Well, one thing I thought I would make while I'm waiting for those mics is, why not discuss what now may be my favorite game of all time, Elden Ring. Now, for those of you, which is probably all of you, who don't know the story as to how the hell I even got into this game, because I love the concept of Souls games, but I was always intimidated by the challenge that comes along with them. So I would buy one, play an hour, get my, ass handed to me, and be intimidated by them and never touch them again. But with Elden Ring, for some reason, it was different. Now, what made me play it specifically was another YouTuber named Quantum TV. Quantum TV is still around to this day, and he is an interesting man. And he made a video where he disliked Elden Ring, which in and of itself isn't a big deal. You don't have to like a game that I like, and I don't have to like a game that you like. You may despise Elden Ring. You may think it's fantastic. I love Super Castlevania 4. That is also one of my other most favorite games of all time. Or at least it's up in the top 5. Maybe even Elden Ring may have beat that, which is saying something. You may hate Super Castlevania 4, though. That's okay. What made Quantum TV's review, and I use that term loosely, and what everyone had a problem was, with the review I should say, what everyone's issue was he was just being disingenuous, and you could tell he didn't play the game at all. One thing, for example, this kind of just gives everything away with the guy. He said that when you die in Elden Ring, you lose all of your inventory, everything. It doesn't matter, you lose your runes. All the equipment you may have picked up along the way. If you die, you are just naked and scared. We all know what the truth about that is. You just lose your runes, and you actually have a second chance to get them if you go back to where you died. And so long as you don't die again before retrieving your runes, you are good. So there was other major flaws in his review, and it's been found out by people who looked into it that there is almost 100% chance that he did not play the game at all. Even if he made a fake review and that was all he did, it wouldn't have been a big thing. But there was many other things that man did behind the scenes that made his bad review of Elden Ring stand out. But I'll leave it at that, because that alone could be a 2-hour ASMR voiceover. But it was because of him that my editor was like, hey, you should do first impressions. Everyone's talking about the game, and you have this guy doing this ridiculous review, and don't you think it would make more sense if you're going to make more videos on Quantum, which we did, to be knowledgeable about the game and not just go through hearsay? And like I said to you, I had no intentions of playing Elden Ring, so I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, I'll pick it up. probably die a billion times in 2 hours and never touch it again. But that wasn't the case. I remember you went through the tutorial area, which I just did here as you saw, and you go up the elevator and you just step out into Limgrave and you're looking over and you see I believe the enemy's name is the Tree Sentinel right there riding the horse. And you could just cascade and you see the Erd tree in the background and you could see so far out and everywhere you could see you could go to. And there was just something that hit different. And I'm not a big RPG guy either, not by a long shot. I'm too stupid to be good at RPGs and therefore I just don't play them. But again, Elden Ring, it just kind of, one thing that was very special to me about this game is that it just kind of lets you create your own world in your mind. There is endless lore, official lore from Software regarding Elden Ring. It's not that it does not have a story, but it's not like there's a whole bunch of dialogue. It's not like they're trying to force their vision of their story down your throat. What From Software does, and I absolutely love, is they create this beautiful world that does have a story, a very deep story, but they let you interpret it the way you want to. You could go look up YouTube videos and do research on the lore, but it doesn't get in your way. The vision doesn't get in your way. They let you experience the vision and let you be in their world the way you want to be in FromSoft's world. And that was what makes this game and other Souls games so unique. The imagination that goes into it and how brilliant it is, that even though they're making this deep, rich world, they still make it palatable to you and allow you to make that vision that they created into your own vision. So it makes the gameplay experience of a Souls game, at least to me, and Elden Ring especially, because this is the game I've put the most hours to out of all the Souls games. It means that even though this is a game that tens of millions of people have played, it's still, everyone's experience with the game is unique because they allow you to make it unique. They don't try to force the story down your throat. And that's another reason beyond the challenge and how Souls games don't hold your hand. It's how the worlds are created, which I think is very enticing to people. So it's not just the challenge. It's just, you could get sucked into this and live in this world the way you want to live in it. Now, if you're wondering and thinking that I am an expert on Elden Ring, I am far from it. I would safely say that I'm an idiot in this game. The only reason I picked the banded class was because of the buckler shield that comes along with it. That's it. I don't think that deep. I'm still amazed that I got through Elden Ring multiple times. But as you're seeing, look at this beautiful cascading view. Look at that. Look at the Erd tree. And everywhere that you see there, you can go. I know this isn't the first open world RPG, action RPG that has done that, but the way that From Software executed their vision of an open world is, in my opinion, second to none, because I usually get very bored of open world games, and I did not get bored of this at all. I'm playing through this game for this ASMR review. I don't know, this isn't a review. I don't know what the hell you're going to call this, but you're going to call it something. I wanted to relive it, I guess you could say, even though I've beat it multiple times. I wanted to relive it firsthand again. I have footage from many moons ago I could have done this ASMR video with, but I didn't feel that justified. I wanted the experience once again with this game to be fresh in my mind, and to be quite frank with you, what a great excuse to play through Elden Ring again is, hey, I need to make a YouTube video, so there you go. So that was the reason why I wanted to play it again and not use old footage. So, as you're seeing here, by the way, I'm playing this on a PS5 Pro. Not that really matters. From Software, as far as I know, has not released a PS5 Pro patch. So, you're essentially just whatever extra GPU and CPU grunt that the PS5 Pro can throw at Elden Ring. The game will probably run smoother. I've seen some benchmarks comparing Elden Ring on the PS5 versus the PS5 Pro, and it does look smoother, but it's still not a full 60 FPS experience. But From Software Games, who is the developer and publisher, or no, Namco Bandai is the publisher of this. That was a dumb mistake I made, but you're going to accept that dumb mistake and not care. Thank you. Well, excuse me. My apologies there. I made a mistake, and I'll never make that mistake again. I will parry this large man on a horse. He's a very large man on a very large horse. And I think my showdown with him will end in failure. We will see right now. Survey says it will end in failure. I'm going to guzzle down my magic man potion. And he's just going to clap my cheeks, my Elden cheeks. There we go. The cheeks are now clapped. Some of you may say that I was a little too ambitious right there to attempt the tree sentinel so early on. And to you, I say kiss my ass and mind your business. All right, so we are back in Limgrave. My long hair is flowing like the man that I am, and I can retrieve my runes. I think we're going to dodge the man on a horse for now, and we're going to continue on to our mission of me farming like the cheap SOB that I am. I do a lot of farming in this, and I get some cool weapons, and I do some upgrades early on. Why? Because I am a giant bitch, and I am mediocre at this game. I had to get through it multiple times somehow, some way. Anyway, here I am jogging right now. I'm just showing you my ass, which is something I was planning on doing anyway. We are going to get to the Church of LA here. It's where you first see, well, actually that's not true. Once you go up the elevator, you actually see your first sight of grace. But it is at these sites of grace that you could do things like level up and mix crap around. Flask of Wondrous Physic, where you could put different abilities in there and have it ready to go. So if you're in a boss fight, you could use what you need to use. I think that's the worst explanation of Flask of Physic or whatever the hell it's called, maybe ever on YouTube, but it gets the point across. Anyway, I'm a man sitting at a site of grace, and here I am. I'm a man jogging through the grass again. We're about to have some encounters with some guards here, and you're about to see my parrying skills. Actually, I will say I am pretty decent at parrying. I don't know if you're going to see it early on here how well I did, but I actually would just practice the living crap out of parrying, and yeah, that's that was absolutely terrible. Wow, that was pretty bad. That was a really, really bad attempt at parrying. I'm much better than that, but anyway. I would go around and practice just like the timing of just different enemies and when to parry. I would like to learn boss patterns and when to parry with them. I'll admit I haven't done that, but I would just sit around and go in different areas and fight different enemies for hours and just let them beat the crap out of me until I learned their parry timings. So I'm pretty decent at that. Many other things I'm lacking with in this game, but parrying is not one of them. Well, okay, here we go again. I'm sucking again. Why am I doing this to myself? Now my self-esteem is ruined, and I will probably remain flaccid for at least 30 days because I feel very insecure about myself, because I know you're judging me while you're watching this. You're judging me, and that sucks. I'm just trying to relax you, and you're sitting here just, demeaning me, and just, you're probably going to leave a comment. And I'm just trying to relax you, and that, that's the thanks that I get. So it is what it is. So it's whatever. So here I am about to look at another man's ass, and see, that was a surprise. That was stealth. See the skill that I have? Do you understand the skill that I have at this game anyway? Beautiful world, though. Really engrossing. And the music in this game is some of the best music. It's orchestrated. Some of the best music I've ever heard in any media ever. It's not even just that it's great video game music. It's just great damn music. And it's absolutely, it just really just grabs me in the ass emotionally. It, I know that sounds ridiculous and it was a weird term to use, but it was top tier. Uh, Movie soundtracks from some of my favorite movies pale in comparison to the soundtrack of Elden Ring. It sounds like I'm just gushing over every. This game does have issues, okay? The enemy targeting in Souls games and including Elden Ring drives me up a goddamn wall. It drives me up a wall. Okay, it's serviceable, but it could be way, way better. Um, some of the jumping mechanics leave something to be desired for me in Elden Ring. I just feel like they need better, tighter controls for like platforming and jumping. I feel how like running is set up is not ideal for platforming. It's not awful, but it's just not great in Souls games. It's better in Elden Ring than it's been in previous Souls games, but there's still something to be desired when it comes to platforming and jumping in this game. But with that being said, man, this to me, and I've said this before in a previous video when I was talking about the minis form X1, what these Souls games have done for me is fill the void that Castlevania left when Konami, well, lost their minds and thought the future of them was mobile games and pachinko machines. But nonetheless, one Castlevania installment, and for those of you who have come from other channels, you have heard this story many, many times. But one game that felt very Souls-like, a Castlevania installment that felt very Souls-like, was Castlevania 64. I'm not saying all the gameplay mechanics were the same. I know they were far from it, but just the way the world was, the design of it, how they only had music as to be part of the atmosphere. There were parts in the game, especially in the beginning, the first level, where there is no music. You have a thunderstorm going on, and until you get to a mid-boss battle and a boss battle, there is no music in the first level of Castlevania 64. What does that sound like? That sounds familiar to the Souls games. Now, Elden Ring's different. It's not like the other Souls games. It has music, not just in boss battles, but in the different areas of the open world that you go through. But that Castlevania game felt like if Konami continued down that direction and refined Castlevania 64, and it was, I wouldn't say critically panned, but it got lukewarm reviews, Castlevania 64, and it didn't do the sales numbers Konami was looking for, so they just went back to their Metroidvania formula that they originally attempted with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was successful. And they kind of left the 3D Castlevania games. I mean, they came out with games for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, and we know of Lords of Shadow. But I feel like all those were missing the point of what Castlevania should have evolved into. Castlevania 64 was their attempt at that, but because it was let's face it, a half-assed attempt, Konami ran away from it and went back to the safety of the Metroidvania games, which they made great ones for the GBA and the DS, and that's still their go-to formula pretty much to this day. But I do feel that if Castlevania could have been what Souls games are now if they stayed the course. But, I guess the numbers talked, and Castlevania 64 and its sequel didn't sell well enough. So it was something that Konami never did with Castlevania, which is sad. My apologies. I had to do a jump cut there. I was actually being stared down by an fully engorged horse, and it was a very dangerous situation. So let's continue here. This is what I do, and this is what gets me through the game. Is I farm runes, I farm weapons. In this run through, which you'll see in other parts of this, I will do more ASMR videos like this. So if you do like it, let me know that you like it. If you think it sucks, let me know that you think it sucks. I'm always looking to improve, and that's one thing. I'm always open to criticism, so long as I like your criticism. If I don't like it, I'll think you're a terrible person. Anyway, let's continue. So let me know what you think of this video. I'm enjoying making it because I can talk about whatever the hell I want to while I'm looking at gameplay footage, beautiful 4K 60 gameplay footage of one of my favorite games of all time. Now I'm getting to the gate front here, and here is a man. Now here we go. I'm starting to get better with the parrying here, and if you're good with the parrying, I believe, yeah, okay, it's a one-hit kill. So parrying is something, if you play a Souls game, I feel, now there's many people who don't parry at all, and they simply do the dodge and roll, and which is also something you need to learn to do. You need to learn to time your dodges. You need to learn to not fat roll. I'm not talking about something that you would see on my body. I'm talking about if you are over encumbered with weapons and items, you will actually roll slower. So if you are in a boss battle where you have to time your rolls properly so you could dodge their attacks, and you need to do it quickly, if you are fat rolling, that is next to impossible, if not impossible. So something to keep in mind. But there's people that are great with dodging, and I am okay. But I always preferred parrying, not only because, as you see, it takes off way more, it causes way more damage, I mean to say, to your opponent in this game than simply just hitting the R bumper or R trigger over and over. It's also very satisfying. The sound of it, the getting the timing, it's very rewarding once you practice a lot and get good at parrying. So it has functionality, and it's a great gameplay element. So there you go. There's another that now I'm getting my groove here. That was also a very boomer thing to say, but I am a boomer, so that's fine. I'm just a man with flowing hair and a shield. Actually, I'm bald in real life, so. But in this game, I'm handsome. My name is Radu, and I ride a horse. And my shield looks like a breast. I have a breast shield. Some may even call it a nipple shield. Nipple, nipple, nipple. All right, here I am. Let's see if I actually parry these gentlemen. I'm now doing a dance. Look at this dance. It's a man dance. All right, there we go. I did a parry right there. I bet you I'm going to do a backwards roll. No, I'm not. I was wrong. What am I going to do here? My hair is flowing back and forth. Admire my hair. All right, let's see here. Perfect parry from a perfect man. That's what's going on there. But as you see, even though my weapon is fairly anemic, because of the fact that I'm good at parrying, it makes it way more formidable. So if you learn parrying early on in a game like this, even if you are very underpowered for the area that you're in, you can still make it through. But again, it's all about learning the timing with parrying, and every enemy has a different time. Every enemy has a different attack. One attack, you may have to have a completely different timing for him, have to be ready to parry at a completely different time, and it may surprise you. You know, was one of the toughest enemies to parry in this game, one of them, there's plenty others that are even tougher, is the noblemen that are around where they're very weak, and if they have a sword, they're very hesitant because they could barely draw it, and like they kind of drunkenly swing at you, and it's kind of an odd timing. So to finally learn how to parry them took quite a bit for me. So that's the thing too. There's a lot of skill to it when it comes to parrying. As you see, I'm gushing about it, and I keep going on. And it's not something simple that you could just do. Like when I tried to parry this guy right here, I got my ass handed to me a billion times. I had to, practice makes perfect, and it's, there you go. I parried him again because I've, got dominated by him a billion times until I learned the patterns and learned how to parry him. And that's something you're going to do. Every enemy's different. The noblemen are one of the toughest ones because they're basically swinging at you like they're drunk. So it's something good to learn. If you're going to get into Souls games, learn how to parry. I think it's a crucial tool, and it's a lot of fun too. Another weapon that I recommend in Elden Ring, and you actually could get it very early on in Limgrave, is at an Everjail, is the Bloodhound's Fang. There are many people, unless From Software nerfed it, and I don't know about it as of making this video. The Bloodhound's Fang, once you get in that Everjail and in Limgrave, you could it takes somber smithing stones, and you can just upgrade it from there all the way up to a ancient dragon somber smithing stone. Am I saying that backwards? Anyway, towards the later part of the game, if you have upgraded your Bloodhound's Fang by bringing it to the blacksmith with these somber smithing stones, you are good to go. One of the better weapons. There's also the Rivers of Blood Katana, which is a great weapon as well. I actually, in my first playthrough, I used that to defeat the Elden Beast, who's the final boss in Elden Ring. So there's also great magic builds, and there's many different weapons in this game. You could choose how you want to play. I'm just a giant ape who likes to, use melee combat, but using magic may be the way you want to go through this game. There's many different ways you could play it, like other Souls games, admittedly. So if you've played other Souls games and haven't played Elden Ring, you kind of know what to expect. All right, as you see here, there is a more magic man potion going down the hole. I'm also going to fill up my magic again to make sure I'm a magical man, as I always am. And we're going to be doing some more stealth here. I'm going to take out the rest of these guards so I can go around and get my magic man Elden Ring treasures. I am tarnished. My hull is tarnished, and I need to untarnish my hull. So let's see how my parrying skills are here. Let's see what happens. Do a good job. Finish him off. Excellent parry. Now it's time to get the wolf. I'm just a man swinging at a wolf. The wolf is down. I succeeded. There's another wolf. These could be annoying. Sometimes their attack timings can be very strange. But I have defeated that wolf, and now here's a man with a hammer trying to hammer my hole. But will he? I don't think so. I have hammered his hole instead. Anyway, I'm deciding to roll away here so I can get a better visual of the situation. Another excellent parry by an excellent man. And ladies and gentlemen, that soldier is down. Now, with my flowing hair and my excellent cheeks, I'm going to take out the rest of the guards. Will I be successful? I believe I will be. All right, guard down. Let me get my spoils of war here. Just running around like a man. Jumping like a man. Having flowing hair like a man. I believe this is the last living guard here who is not very intelligent, as you could see. And there we go. I've vanquished the entire group of enemies, and I get back my magic man potions. So as you see, ladies and gentlemen, I have so much more Elden Ring footage, and I have so much more that I can say about this game. But I think I'm going to end it here at 30 minutes because I want to see how this goes. Hope you enjoy the footage. Hope you enjoy my wonderful, smooth man voice. And if you want more of this, let me know in the comments section below. This is Tech25 ASMR, signing out. Have a good one.